Now this is another design flaw, but designed for cheapness, ease of manufacture, and all that type of thing that I've mentioned in the previous videos. To get an accurate machine, the body should not flex. And I've showed you other solutions how to overcome that. Bolting it down, gluing it, making up the adapters, clamps, the board, makes it all nice and solid. There's another problem too, is accuracy. And as I mentioned, with these bearings, out this way, out that way, if your table's tilted, even though you've got it square, flat, as it goes down, it moves like that. So as all different errors will appear in your print. So if it's not square, your faces aren't square, perpendicular and all that, this is part of the problem. The solution, if you want to spend the money, is to mount up one solid bearing, bearings either end, to a strong frame. This is the main one. The other one can float, that's no problems, like I mentioned before, and remove some of the problems. But don't make it everything so it's a slop fit. Normally, when you have a lead screw, you have a bearing on one end, bearing on the other end, and it locks it in position. These have got these couplings. Now you only use these couplings if your centres will be out, and they allow to take the slack out. The problem with them is they're really just a spring. That slit is a spiral slit. So they're sitting on the spring. And if you've ever seen any of those kids' toys where you flick the head and the bird or whatever, the clown head bobs around, that's what this does. That bobs. As the shaft is moving, it's spinning around. When the bearing is up the top, there is less movement it can do. But when the bearing is down the bottom and there's slack in the nuts, you can get the movement. Now when the machine is moving, you'll get movement. That movement then gets vibration. These are weak and flexible. So part of the problem with your noise is that of these lack of support for these bearings. Now again, to get the two shafts perfect, you'd have to have perfect holes, perfect alignment, so they make them sloppy, they don't even touch. And that is so as any errors are eliminated due to inaccuracy. If you've got a 1/2 inch hole and a 1/4 inch rod, it's always going to fit. So you can modify that and put one bearing on there. You'll also see them with a anti-backlash. Backlash is that between the teeth there's a gap, and if that's 2mm and the mating nut is only 1mm wide, you're going to have 1mm backlash. That means that when it turns up, pushes the nut up. When it turns back, the slack has to take up before it pushes it down. So cheaper they are, the bigger the backlash. You have two nuts and they both can have 1mm, and it will push the two nuts together and the spring will keep them touching. However, this is your Z-axis. What happens? Okay, it may move up, home, move back up, but it's only ever going to go up one layer at a time. Bip, bip, bip. And you've got the weight sitting on it. So you don't really need backlash compensation there. If, however, one of the shafts were used for the X or the Y, then you have constant movement and you would need to have backlash there. So if you're going to swap over from a belt to a shaft drive, yes, you need backlash compensation. So you can make up a bearing, fits in there, just in one of these, and it will hold it in position, and that's all you need. Don't put a bearing on the other one, or a tight-fitting bearing anyway, because it will only mean you have to get that parallel and square and all that. So a design flaw, yes. A manufacturing flaw, no. So that's part of the reason why you get noise and vibration. Another one is that there's no dampening. So I've got a bit of brass tube coming on eBay. It's cheaper, much cheaper than the aluminium. And if you look at my video on the inserts for plastic, see that they fit inside the brass tube, and I'll just solder on. And one bracket's going to go up here where this hole is. Keep in mind, it has to have the clearance, 240 clearance from your print, and that will lock that in position, and my spool holder will sit on there as well. So design flaw, yes. Manufacturing flaw, no. So the printer is a compromise. The components themselves you couldn't buy for $210. Buy the printer, get it going the best you can. If it's causing you any trouble, shift to aluminium section, bolt together aluminium section, put in bearings and guides, and you'll have a lot better printer, but for a bit more money. But overall, I do recommend the printer. It is well made. No 3D printed parts, proper extruded plastic. enough tools, extra screws, everything you may need. So if you've enjoyed the video, tell your friends and subscribe, spread the word. If you haven't, tell me. And as always, thanks for watching.